Good morning. Good morning, Kristen. Good morning, everyone. There's a little bit of some yard work going on outside, so maybe, yeah. There's a little bit of yard work, so I'm sorry if there's a little extra noise, but hopefully everyone can hear me all right. Mimi, I'm so happy that you were here. Dawn, I see your name. April, Amy, hello, hello. Elizabeth, Ezra, thank you. Gabriella, Keisha's here. Hi, Lena, Nancy. Pam's here. It's great to see your name. Sue, Tristan, excellent. We've got a few more, like another minute or so for you guys to all, or whoever else is hopping on, joining us. So take a moment to get set up. I'm going to grab a blanket because I think I had an email that maybe I've got to have a little pregnant mama joining us today, so I want to just have that on hand to give some cues. So if you have you don't have to have a blanket, but if you've got a pillow or a blanket, you can use that because that sometimes is really nice, you know, whether pregnant or not, but just to have a little support for the belly or for the head, things like that. But it can be, you don't have to have a blanket. A bath towel is fine, right? You don't. For years, I refused to buy extra equipment to put in my apartment life because I was going to the studio. So I'd use like thick books for blocks. I would use couch cushions or pillows or whatever for like a ball or for head support or whatever. Towels all the time. Belts for like yoga straps. So you can really workshop whatever you've got in your house as a prop. That being said, if you want to order props, let me know. I'm happy to give you like a little mini list, but I don't think that you have to really spend a lot of money on that or anything. So there's my PSA on props. And we're ready to start. So hello, good morning, happy Saturday to you all. I'm Nicole Watkins, for those of you who I don't know. And also for those of you who I do know, I'm still Nicole Watkins, and I'm teaching for Kaira Studios. And we are just doing these regular classes. So Monday and Wednesday, we have a quick 30-minute, 12 o'clock Pacific time class. And then we have Tuesday and Saturday, an hour-long class. Tuesday is at 4 p.m. At West Coast time. And we are just getting these classes to you so that we all keep moving and staying strong and staying healthy and staying home, because that's the safe way right now. So I want to start with, as you might imagine, breathing, because it's Saturday morning and I didn't move as much as I wanted to, other than chasing around my kid yesterday. So let's just start cross-legged. This is a nice place where if you've got your pillow or your towel, you can kind of sit up on it. So you give yourself a little booster seat. But by no means do you have to do that if it's comfortable to sit just on the ground. It's sometimes nice because it allows the hips to drop a little bit. And so what we're going to do is take the hands to the sides of the ribs. My hands kind of look like this. And you're going to go to the lower ribs, and you can have your eyes open or closed. This is just about you checking in. Don't worry about pulling your belly in, but see what you can do just sitting here to bring your head over your ribs and your ribs over your pelvis. And you're going to start with an inhale, letting your ribs expand into your hands. Even your thumb and the line of your hand between your index finger and your thumb, that little nook there. Let your ribs move into that. And then exhale, let the ribs soften. Doing that again on these lower ribs. So I'm kind of my lower 3 or 4 ribs. Inhaling. Oh, I noticed. Oh, look, my left rib cage expanded in the front, but not in the back. My right side did something totally different. And then exhaling. One more breath there. Okay, now it's a little more even. And exhaling. Then if it feels okay in your shoulder, you're gonna go a little bit higher. So just figure out what you wanna do. And you really wanna have your hands to the sides of your ribs and the thumbs trying to reach towards the back side of the rib cage. So my hands are a little bit like that, if you can see. So they're kind of wrapping around the sides. I'm a little too like the middle 3 or 4 ribs. Same thing, you're gonna breathe in. Noticing the asymmetries, like I'm wiggling a little bit on this first one here. And don't worry if the shoulders lift up, just let it happen. Exhaling, dropping down. Inhaling again. Exhaling, releasing, noticing. It's like I'm building, so I'm not neglecting those ribs that I had my hands on before, the lower ones. I'm just building on that. So I'm thinking about expanding my breath a little bit more, getting the ribs to move, tuning into what it feels like when I breathe in underneath my hands. Can I expand my lungs, my ribs a little bit more high? Just got a little adjustment there. And then exhale, let it go. Then you're going to take your thumbs into your armpits so that you can feel the ribs through that tissue. Be very gentle because you do have little lymph nodes and things in there. And then your fingertips and the palm of your hand is just going to kind of angle up towards your collarbones. So my fingers are just underneath my collarbones. And I'm letting my fingers just rest here, and I'm going to see if my neck and shoulders can relax. Is my head still over my rib cage? And as I breathe here, I'm building one more layer. So these upper ribs, you're going to inhale, expand, expand. Let there be movement underneath your thumb and fingers. And then exhale, just let it go. You're not trying to hold in your belly right now. You're not trying to force yourself into any static posture. You're just breathing in, trying to deepen it. And then exhale, letting it go. One more, inhaling. As the ribs lift, maybe the shoulders lift. And then exhale, letting it go. Then we're going to do a little side bending and movement of the arms, and just be gentle with your range. And then we're going to come back and just breathe. So let's just sit here for a second and take one full deep breath, thinking about those ribs going out and up. They're going behind you as well, so you inhale. Hold your inhale, expand your ribs a little bit more. And then when you can't expand anymore, you can't take any more breath in, and then exhale, just let it all go. We were playing with balloons in my household this morning, and it's more exciting for a 2-year-old just to like blow it up and then let it go. So just inhale, exhale, so that it's really just a rebound. So you're gonna take one hand to the mat, the other hand's gonna stretch up and overhead, and I'm taking weight into my hand that's on the mat. So I'm softening that side, I'm really heavy in that hand that's on the mat as the other side fans open and expands. Breathing there, and then keeping some pressure into that hand that's on the mat to help guide you. You're gonna follow your top hand with your eyes as you sweep the arm back a little bit, let it go down, and let it come forward. Reaching into the up and then to the side, breathing in there, and then back and around. Letting your eyes follow your hand, letting the movement of your arm and your shoulder help give you more, what do I want to say, more space. Let it help move your rib cage, move the tissues of where the shoulders rest and attach to the ribs, or maybe connect. Maybe attach is not the right word I want to use, but connect with the ribs so that you're really starting to stimulate this tissue. You're getting more movement through the ribs. And then we'll just go the other direction. So you'll bring your arm in front of you and just follow it the other direction. Go as fast or as slow as you need. Try not to do such a huge side bend that you don't have, let me be clear about what we want. We want even weight in our sits bones on our butt as we do this arm circle. So sometimes when we do this, people are really going for like a crazy side stretch. Sometimes it's a little too much. Last one. Right there, like that little groove when I go from back to side to front feels like, oh, all the way down. And then stack yourself up. Take a moment, just let your hands rest wherever they're comfortable. Breathe in here and notice if it already feels different. So inhale again. Yeah, feels like more space. Like I have more capacity to keep expanding my inhale, keep expanding my ribs, almost getting more stretch in the lung tissue, or really in my intercostals. And we're gonna do the other side. So you're gonna do the other side. Taking weight into the bottom side, checking in with the weight in my sits bones or my butt to make sure it's even, supporting myself with that bottom hand, and then we're gonna circle that arm, circling back, down, and around. I think I started going the other direction, but it doesn't matter because we're gonna do both directions. And right there, I lost my hand. There I go. I can follow my hand with my eyes. Following my hand with my eyes. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Following my hand with my eyes. Following my hand with my eyes. And then we'll go the other direction. So whichever way you're going, just go the other way. Trying to let, and this side, it also feels different. With my neck, to follow my hand with my eyes feels a little different than on the other side. I'm going to check in with my weight in my sits bones. I was losing that a little bit. Kind of using my hand that's on the mat to shift my weight into that opposite butt cheek. Oddly, I thought the other side would be a little, I'm going to use the word stiff, but this side feels a little stiffer today. So I'm going to kind of find the little range that feels the trickiest for me, and I'm going to wiggle it back and forth there. And then we're going to come center and stack all the way and just take a nice big breath in. Different, feels different already. So you could just do that and be on your way. But we are going to make our way to our forearms and knees. So now that we've talked to the ribs, we've moved the shoulders. We're going to do a little bit more on the shoulders. So we're going to start with shoulder shrugs. You're going to come onto your forearms and your knees, elbows underneath the shoulders. Get the forearm as flat as possible. If you need to make a fist, that's fine. And all you're going to do is gently let your chest drop and your shoulder blades kind of hang together. So winging the shoulder blades, as we sometimes talk about it. Stay there and just wiggle around. Feel where you can find that your body weight is really distributed. Like, I think my thigh bones, my femurs, are just props for my pelvis, and my arms are just props for my rib cage. And then I'm going to press through my forearm, wrap my shoulder blades back onto my ribs. But as we do that, notice if the chest pulls down and it kind of starts to pinch in the upper back, upper neck, back of the neck, that kind of like hunching our shoulders. If you can keep the back of your neck long and your collarbones open, it starts to engage different shoulder connection on your ribs, and that's what we want to get. We want to get the serratus working to wrap the scapula onto the rib cage. And then we're going to do that again, just dropping down. I call it the schlump. And then you're going to press, wrap the scapula around, sort of unschlumping. And then you're going to drop down, shoulder blade to shoulder blade. And then you're going to press. And I can really feel how one side is much different than the other. And then dropping down. And then wrapping and widening. 2 more. Long back of the neck. It's hard when I'm talking and doing this to keep my organization of my neck. So just be mindful. All right, then we're going to go to everyone's favorite exercise. If you can keep your fist, but if you can, try and stretch the hand out. I'm looking at a nice clear line from my middle finger through the middle of my wrist, through my elbow, up to the shoulder joint. And then what we're going to do is press into the palms. Keep shifting weight forward. Your tendency is going to want to be shifting the weight back. Press into your palms and just elevate the elbows off. I don't know how many inches that is. Maybe like 5 inches, 4 inches. You're going to stay there. You're going to keep connecting into the whole hand, or if you're making a fist, the whole fist pushing down into the mat. Hug your elbows slightly towards each other so they're trying to be as parallel as possible. Keep your neck long and free. and open your collarbones. Stay here with your body, your torso, as you reach your elbows down towards the ground. So lowering back down, not by collapsing, but by slowly lowering your elbows. And there is going to become a time where your whole body has to come down, right? It's going to be affected by that. But I don't want you to lead by just collapsing. So now you can collapse shoulder blade to shoulder blade. Take a moment, even if the shoulders go up towards your ears, let that happen. Breathe. And then inhale, press back up to your unshlunk position. Stay there, press into your hands. Levitate the elbows off, hugging them together, wide collarbones, free neck. Breathe in, and then slowly lower the elbows down. This time, no rest for the weary. We're gonna go for 4 more. Lifting, organize the scapula. Open the collarbones, or widen the collarbones, I should say, as the elbows hug towards each other. Lifting, and lowering. And lifting, and lowering. Two more. Lifting, organize. I'm shifting my body. I'm like trying to get away from the work by shifting my body back. Charlotte, keep shifting forward towards the hand. Oh, this right side is disorganized. And then lower down. All right, from here, we're gonna press. We're gonna come all the way up. We're gonna walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Do one little shoulder shrug again. So let yourself kind of go into that slouch position. Maybe let the head hang. Maybe let the tail lift and the head lift. So like a little cow. And then maybe go into a little cat. Oh, high back body. And then what we're gonna do is find a happy medium. And we're going to start talking just belly. So I want you to get into the scapula connection that you're working before. You're going to breathe in and feel your ribs expand, feel your belly and your back expand. So inhale. Let your belly drop towards the mat on your inhale. Let your ribs expand. So it's a really full torso breath. And then when you exhale, hug your belly in. So it's that lifting the litter of kittens. And then inhale, breathing. Let the belly relax. Check in with your head and neck. Where are the shoulders? Exhale. If you need to be on your forearms here, you can by all means do that. If you need to be on fists too, if your wrists are sensitive, I'll move this out of our way. That's a nice thing too. And then on your exhale, lift your litter of kittens. Inhale, let your belly drop. I'm not necessarily moving my spine. I'm just saying, can I hug my belly in without moving my spine? So it's just supporting that. So I'm hugging the kittens in, lifting them from the floor, but I'm not necessarily rounding my back. And then inhale, let the belly hang. Exhale, lift them up. If you can engage a little pelvic floor connection, it's nice too. Sometimes we get pelvic floor going and we tuck our butt. That's not, you don't necessarily have to do that. You can get the pelvic floor engaged without tucking the tail. Think a little bit more of the attachments of the pelvic floor at the pubic bone. Inhale, release. Exhale this time. You're gonna hold the litter of kittens up there, long back of the neck. We're gonna see if we can push into our hands and our knees, and one leg is gonna slowly slide back. Keep the foot on the ground, and notice if you shifted anywhere. You might have shifted, but did you rock side to side? What happened there? And did you lose the hug of your litter of kittens, right? So just enough belly support. And like for me, it's that place that's the hardest to connect. Like where's the blind spot? I'm gonna push my leg that's down on the floor, really push it down as I lift the other leg up. And I can feel most of my weight in the leg that's lifting. That hand is taking a lot of weight. So can I get into that scapula on my back? Maybe, maybe not. I'm gonna lift this leg up. I'm gonna hold there in the first one and really luxuriate in like someone's pulling my thigh. I'm parallel, so it feels a little like I'm rolling my thigh towards the ceiling, and then someone's pulling my toes, so my leg's really long there. Inhale, drop that leg down. Exhale, reach and lift it up without losing your litter of kittens. Inhale, maybe let your litter of kittens relax for a second. Then exhale, pull the belly in, lift the leg up. Inhale down, exhale, lift. Get lighter in your ribs. Where's the freedom of your breath and movement in your rib cage, especially those upper ribs and middle and upper ribs where your shoulder blades and collarbones are resting, right? You need that to be free, to be there to support your shoulder blades and your arms so it's not just hanging off your neck. Exhale, lifting the leg up. Inhale, lowering down. Every time I do this, I want to think belly, then stretch and lift the leg. And then exhale, belly, and stretch and lift the leg. One more. Exhale, belly, and stretch and lift the leg. Bring that leg in. Bring the knee down, and we're going to do the other side. If you want to do a little hang for a moment. Find your alignment. Breathe in, let the belly hang. Exhale, hug the belly in, push the hands and the shin down, and then send one leg back. Tune into your awareness. One side is definitely always different than the other. So lengthen both sides of your waist. Hug your litter of kittens in for stability and lift and lower your back leg, stretching and lifting. On this side, it's like, how can I get the stretch without shifting all my body weight back into that leg? So how do I stay balanced between my hands and my shin? Long through my waist, long through my head tail as I reach my leg. Lower and lift for one. Lower and lift for two. Lower and lift for three. Talk to the belly 2 seconds before you go anywhere with that leg. So you're priming yourself. You're anticipating the load of that leg. Exhale, litter of kittens. Exhale, litter of kittens. 2 more. I get a little lazy on this side. All right, and then coming down with that leg. And then take whatever stretch you need to. If you want to go to child's pose, you want to go kind of more to like a butt up, head down. Gives you a little more space. It's a little less pressure in the knees. All right. So then from there, we're going to go onto our belly. If my pregnant mama is on, you can just do this seated, or you could do it standing against the wall. And that's for anyone who has any discomfort laying on your belly. You can just do this against the wall. So you would stand with your forehead and hands and chest against the wall, but maybe step the feet back a little bit. We're going to just do a little bit of upper back work, but the first thing we're going to do is shoulders. So we're going to come into our forearms, and it's like you're just hanging out. And again, you could just look kind of like this against the wall. So you just put your forearms against the wall, and you just shrug your shoulders up. And you just let yourself breathe there. So your elbows could be out farther if it's a little easier in your lower back. If you're standing and doing this against a wall, you could just crawl your elbows a little higher. You just breathe and let your shoulders be up towards your ears. And then just press and kind of feel like, oh, what do I need to do to get my shoulders wrapping and engaging around my rib cage, and then dropping, let the shoulders lift. Maybe wiggle a little bit there, and then press and engage, and just be like, I'm pushing the floor and or wall away. And then one more, just kind of let the shoulders go. Breathe. So as I let my shoulders come up, can I get those ribs still moving, right? I'm alleviating the pressure on them, so can I breathe a little deeper there? And then you're gonna come down or towards the wall with your forehead and hands. And what we're gonna do is you're going to press, sort of like squeeze your hamstrings to pull your sits bones towards your feet. So not necessarily just jamming your tail towards your floor. It's reaching the tail and the sits bones towards the feet. Kneecaps lift up. You're going to breathe in, and as you exhale, lengthen through the crown of the head, like someone's pulling your ears, like little Spock ears. Lengthen, 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 and slowly lift your head just a little bit off the mat. Ladies, that might be, or people, it could be anyone, it's not exclusive to ladies, but if you're doing this at the wall, another way to do this is you can just interlace the hands behind your head and push your head into your hands. You guys that are on the floor can also do this. push the head into the hands, and you're gonna feel the spine right in between your shoulder blades really activate. And then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna add a little rotation. So I'm gonna look underneath one elbow and armpit, lifting it a little higher, and then come center, and then just doing this to the other side. You could also do this just standing or seated. Again, you could have the hands behind the head and lift, but you're gonna have to lengthen and push up against the hands, which is harder with the hands behind the head. But if you're standing, it might feel like you're actually getting more work because you don't have gravity resisting you like we do on the ground. Lifting one elbow and looking that way, and then come center, lifting one elbow and looking the other way. And center. One more time each side. Hopefully you're starting to feel your upper back. And then center. All right, so just take a second, rest however you need to. We're gonna see if we can get into our tush now. So I want you to, let's do this. Let's roll over onto our back. If you need a little head padding, you can use it, but we are gonna do a little bridging. So with bridging, because we're lifting the butt up, we don't wanna take a lot of pressure into the neck. So you may want to not take your head padding yet, but for some of you guys, it might feel better. So I want you to really always be aware of your body. I will have to say, having everyone do things at home, you guys are having to be like really accountable of your own body awareness with this, which is kind of interesting. So we're gonna do a few different bridging feet positions. So I want you to start with your legs really close together. So squeeze the feet, the knees, the inner thighs, the hips together. You're gonna breathe in. As you exhale, sink the chest, the ribs back as you squeeze your tush, press into the feet and lift up. So like my first bridge of the day is always really slow and small, so I'm not gonna come up very high. And this is already feeling very asymmetrical in my body. Also, keeping my legs together feels really crazy. So listen to your body. If you're like, no, this feels like not great to keep the legs squeezing together, separate them a little bit. If you can keep the squeeze together, keep working that and work that into a little bit more like the medial hamstring and the pelvic floor, and just try and come up a half an inch higher and send the sits bones up the backs of the thighs towards the knees, and then slowly roll down, massaging your back on the mat. Because that back connection or that spine connection on the mat, we're gonna play with in a minute. You're gonna breathe in here as you exhale, squeeze everything together. Start to lift up, pelvic floor and belly, working a little bit, but mostly hamstrings and glutes. I really have to talk to, on my body, my right sits bone, medial hamstring, foot connection just does not want to activate. And so it feels weird actually my left hip it feels like a pull. There we go. So when I get my right side working, the pull that I was feeling in my left hip went away. And then I'm going to roll down. And this bridge with my feet really close together is not as high as if my feet were wider. So just go with what's right for your body. You're going to do this again, pressing into the feet, leaning not into your neck, but your upper back as you unweight your pelvis, pushing down through the feet and down through the upper back to come up. Sending the sits bones long to the backs of the knees. Good morning, hamstrings and glutes. Breathing there. Lengthen a little bit more and come down. And then what we're going to do is we're going to step the feet a little wider. So now about sits bones distance. All right, so when we get into sits bones distance, that's, I like to come to sits bones distance if I'm just laying on my back here. I just like to feel it from my feet together, and I just separate my toes with my heels together, and then I just swing my heels out because it's not very wide. It's not shoulder width. It's a lot narrower than we think. You're going to breathe in. Let the ribs move. Exhale. Feel your hug of your belly as you press into your feet, lifting the hips up. Slowly, slowly, slowly finding your glide of your femurs, picking your pelvis up. And because the pelvis is picking up, then it picks up the sacrum and the rest of the spine. Breathing in at the top of your bridge. Either roll or hinge down. See if you can start to squeeze your belly, like you're gonna control your own alignment. So I'm using my abdominals here without having to overly load them. So I'm already priming them for controlling the placement of my ribs and my spine and my pelvis. 2 more like this. We're gonna press, we're gonna lift the hips up. I'm intentionally not saying hinge up or roll up. I just want you to come up with what feels good to you, where you're leading from what's going down. So my feet are going down on my upper back as I slowly work through my hip joint. I don't want to lead this, not even lead it from my sacrum. I don't want to lead it from my low back. I want to lead it from my hip joints so that I'm opening in the front of the hip and working in the back of that hip, and then slowly releasing down. Breathing in at the bottom. And then last one. Let's see if I'm level, kind of. Just explore that. Gonna find that connection, find a little bit more work where my thigh and my butt meet. And then we're gonna do little pulses. So you're gonna tap the butt down and lift from that tissue that's getting some blood flow now. So lifting right where the thigh and the butt meet. 2, inhale down, exhale up. 3. Are you still trying to press evenly through the feet? Excuse me, let me rephrase that. Center through your body, which may feel uneven in your feet. So it feels like I have to focus so much harder on my right foot connecting to balance out whatever my asymmetries are. 3 more. Coming up. And down, and 2, and down. Last one up. Oh, and releasing down. From there, just let your knees drop to one side, letting it give you a little stretch. Breathe in. When you come back to center, just roll across your ribs and your pelvis, then your knees go to the other side. And then exhale, come back to center. All right, bring the feet closer together. If ever you're on your back and you feel like pulsing or dizziness or anything, especially for any pregnant mamas on there, you may want to just roll to your side and take a moment, because depending on where you are, like if you're over 17-ish weeks in your pregnancy, then it's gonna be, sometimes the weight of the baby presses on your blood flow there and it makes you a little lightheaded. So just roll to your side and take a moment. All right, so we're gonna dig into some abs. You do what you can here. You're gonna bring your feet and your knees and your thighs back together. I've got my head supported because it feels kind of nice and it's allowing my ribs to drop back. For some of you guys, you might even take the blanket or your pillow kind of to the shoulders and the head so you have like a slight incline. So it really helps your ribs fall into the mat. And what I want you to do is not worry about being so neutral in the pelvis. I want you to press and connect into your feet and hips. I want you to breathe, and I want you to lengthen from sacrum to skull, and actually exhale, hug your belly in and back, and see if you can lengthen and find a little connection of each vertebra on the mat. So for me, it's very difficult in the lumbar spine, which it should be because that curve is opposite of where we're going. But I just want to see if we can use it as stability, as feedback. So you're going to use the mat and your connection of your vertebra on the mat to help give you information. You're going to reach both arms up towards the ceiling and press the palms together, but you're keeping your shoulders and shoulder joints heavy on the mat. You're going to breathe in and exhale, sink and connect into the mat. Really focus on your belly where you feel that it's hardest for your spine to find the mat. There's going to be a chunk where it's hardest for your body. That's the part of your belly you really want to talk to. And what you're going to do is challenge your stability, hugging from hips to ribs to stabilize. Extend one knee without changing anything. Inhale, bring that down. Exhale, other side. Press the palms together, shoulders on the mat, ribs on the mat. Wide collarbones. Inhale. Exhale. Squeeze the belly. Get a little hip squeeze. Send the other leg out. Inhale. Exhale. Find your connection with the mat. Feel your back wide on the mat. Notice if you extend one leg, if you tend to lift the opposite side of your pelvis or your butt or any of that, you're trying to stay stable here. Exhale, other side. All right, from here, interlace the hands. Support the head in the hands. Without just yanking the neck up, you're going to breathe in. And as you exhale, you're going to lengthen by pulling your head, and you're going to curl as if you're curling and lengthening around your heart so you can peek towards your belly. Make sure you're not straining so much in your abdominals that your belly's popping up towards the ceiling. You only want to lift as much as you can still find your connection back to the mat. You're going to breathe in, and we're going to do the same thing with the legs. Exhale, hug hips, legs together, pull the belly back. Just keeping that rib to pelvis connection. Inhale down. Exhale, hugging. Spinal stability, like that side. Woohoo, I moved a little bit. And I lost my connection right in the center there. Inhaling. Exhale. Find your center, then extend the leg. Inhale in. Exhale. Find the center, extend the leg. Be fastidious with your organization here. Otherwise, it's just like, you might feel kind of like, what am I doing? But if you're really organized and tuning into exact placement of your body and control, then you're like, oh wow, it's a lot of work to hold your trunk stable. That's a lot of joints to organize. One more time each side. Inhale. Exhale, let the head be heavy in the hands so you're not just yanking your neck up. And then bring your head down and relax. All right, so we're going to do a little knee sway oblique exercise, and then we're going to come back to revisit what we were just doing. There's many different variations you can do this, so I would suggest, if it feels best for your body, to take your hands wide and just keep the feet on the ground and go one side, dropping the knees, inhaling. And instead of leading with the knees to come back to center, wait for your exhale and pull with your abdominals, with your ribs, your waistline, your pelvis back to center. And then you inhale, you drop your knees to the other side. You think, exhale, ribs, waist, pelvis. If you're ready for a little bit more, keep their arms where they are. And I'm trying to think, my shoulders and shoulder joints heavy towards the mat. You could float both legs up to tabletop, or you could even have the legs straight up towards the ceiling. Whatever's right for you. So, same thing, right? You could keep the feet on the ground. That's a nice amount of work. Or you could have the legs at tabletop or straight. Inhale, going one direction. Exhale, dragging yourself center. Inhale, going the other way. Exhale, center. Inhale, going one way. Exhale, center. Oh man, I really want to pull with my shoulders. I've been working with this with one client. We're really trying not to find our stability from our jaw and neck and shoulders. So really let that be loose. Inhale. I'm going to try not to roll my shoulder forward, but keep my shoulder blade on the ground. So if I'm really honest with myself, that means a smaller range of motion. Exhale, come center. And that time I didn't shorten my spine. I'm going to lengthen my head and my tail, bring my ribs back, let my shoulders be easy, and do that. Keep exploring whichever variation feels good to you. If you want to add on a little bit, keep the shoulders and the ribs with the floor, but take your arms up towards the ceiling with the palms touching. So here we are again. The tendency is going to be to point the arms in the opposite direction of the legs. Try it by keeping your palms over your chest and your eyes there. So like if I'm looking up at my thumbs, they're still straight up over my chest. Exhale, pull back to center. So when you don't allow the arms to counter rotate, it's a little harder actually. Whatever position is right for you. Inhale, but try not to, when you come back to center, try not to shorten. Try and lengthen from head to tail. Relax the neck and shoulders and jaw. And really let your trunk do some work. One more time each side. Whatever variation you're doing. Exhale, center. Still have to pay attention to your little fuzzy, your gray areas. Bend the knees and bring the feet back down to the mat if they were up in the air, that is. All right, so we're going to support the head and the hands again. Bring the feet and the knees to touch. Maybe like if your sacrum's getting a little antsy there, just lift up. All right, so you're going to breathe in, lengthen or pull the skull a little bit. Curl up your head, neck, and shoulders. Wiggle a little bit here. Wiggle side to side, rocking on your ribs. So I'm going to try and keep my butt down on the mat and wiggle through my ribs here. All right, then I'm going to find center. I'm going to support one hand. Actually, let's decide that in a minute. So let's keep both hands supporting the head. Reach the elbows towards the ceiling. Hug through the hips, pelvic floor, belly. Find your connection with the mat. And I'm got to move my blanket a little bit. And I extend one leg. The leg that's extended, that hand is actually going to support you. See if you can take your other hand, grab that elbow and lift it towards the ceiling so your shoulder blade is no longer resting on the mat. And your abs, specifically your obliques, are going to be like, why did you do that? I don't want it to work that hard. Your other hand that just adjusted that stabilizing side, let your head be heavy, is going to reach up towards your toes. And what you're going to do is you're going to inhale, let your arm, your free arm that's reaching towards the ceiling, go up as your head comes down. You're going to breathe in. You're going to exhale, lift up, and reach towards those toes. Reach, reach, reach with that free floating arm. Reach towards the toes. Inhale, coming back. Exhale, curling up 2. We're doing 10 of these. Inhale, exhale, reach. And for any mamas, both pre or postpartum, it might be nice just to do this with the head down and just kind of reach the arm, because it might be too much work in the rectus right now to palm up and down. 5, 6, 7, 8, hugging my hip underneath me, 9, 10, just stay there. If you're down for it, let your head rest in your hands. You 10 little pulses here, just 10, 9, 8, reaching the arms, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then come down. Hello, good morning. That's a lot of ab work. You get to do the other side. Anyone, you guys are all welcome. Just keep the head down while you do this. Just reaching the scapula and getting it to move along the ribs towards that foot will already stimulate that sort of serratus oblique connection. You're going to breathe in. As you exhale, find your connection of the mat and your back. So you are not necessarily neutral unless neutral feels best for you, which means that you will have a little curve in your back, but the stability is going to be the key no matter where you are. So length and stability, right? I'm going to hug my hips a little bit. So I'm doing real powerhouse Pilates, like Joe's powerhouse, which means hips to ribs. We're going to reach opposite arm up to the ceiling as a leg that's extended. Head is heavy on the hand. Let's lift up on this first one. The hand that's supporting the head, grab that elbow, pull it up so that shoulder blade's not resting on the mat. Reach up, in, and let's exhale there. Inhale, coming down. Exhale, reach, and down. Exhale, reach, and down. Exhale, reach, and down. Exhale, reach, and down. 5, 6, 7, and 8. 2 more. 9 and 10. Stay there. Head in the hands. Elbow off the ground. Shoulder off the ground. Elbow towards the ceiling. Reach your fingertips to the toes. 10 little pulses. Reaching 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. And then come down. Take a moment. All right, from there, we're going to reach the arms to the ceiling with the shoulder blades grounded. See what you can do to get your ribs on the mat. Float one leg up to tabletop and wiggle it a little bit. If you need to do this with one foot down and one leg up, do that. But if you can, see if you can float both legs up. All right, from there, you're just going to take your hands to your thighs, and you're going to push your thighs away. You're pushing your hands into your thighs and your thighs into your hands. You're gonna breathe in, and as you exhale, gather a little pelvic floor strength. So you got your elevator through your pelvic floor going all the way out through the top of the head. From there, you're gonna take both hands to one knee, and you're resisting that one side as you pull the leg in a little closer to 90 degrees. Breathing in, exhale. What's happening in the ribs? Bring the ribs back into the mat. Keep your butt relatively heavy, and you're gonna breathe in. As you exhale, kind of hug hips to ribs, find the mat, send one leg out away from you. I'm squeezing that hip of that leg that's reaching out. And my leg might be going out but to the ceiling. That's sometimes a safer load in our back and our belly. You can go 45 or you can go lower, whatever is right for you. Inhale, coming in. We're going to do 5 on this one side. Find your stabilizing side, the hands and the leg coming together. Find that first, lengthen, find your mat, and then slowly challenge yourself by sending that other leg away from you. Stabilize, stabilize, stabilize. Inhale, coming in. Stabilize first, then send the leg up. Inhale in. Exhale, stabilize first, then send the leg out. Work your belly. Do not let your torso move. Head to tail lengthen, back, reaching towards the mat, hand and leg pushing together as that leg goes out. Inhale, switch sides. Exhale, stabilize and organize first, send the other leg away. And it might be different, like my leg has to go a little higher on this side. Inhale, coming in. Exhale. So hard to keep the ribs back on the mat. Belly needs to work. 2 more. Remember that deep breath all the way underneath the collarbones and the shoulders. Use that. Inhale in. Exhale. All right, from there, grab your thighs or your shins. Do a little rock side to side, and we are going to roll to your side. Pick your favorite side. This is another great place to use your towel or pillow or whatever to support your head. I'm not going to use it for that. So there's a couple of things you could use your towel or pillow for is to support the belly here. Especially if you are pregnant, it's really nice to use that. Or you can use it for your head. I'm just going to take it all the way down here because I like to let my head just rest. Hand top of the top arm is just going to find the mat. You're going to kind of push into that hand using a little shoulder connection, and then just take a moment to wiggle around on your ribs and wiggle around on the pelvis. And what we're going to do is lift this leg up, and we're going to lift the bottom foot up, and you are going to squeeze the feet together. So squeeze the heels together here, and like, whoop, my bottom hamstring actually cramped. Squeezing that heel, stabilize the pelvis as much as you can, and then lower that top knee and lift the top knee. So I just move my hand so I can adjust for just a moment to find that. If you're doing this and for whatever reason it feels weird in your bottom hip, just take the the bottom foot down and just do normal clamshells. But anytime we're doing clamshells, so you're just exhaling and exhaling, rotate, see if you can work, like we just did a lot of belly work, so it's alive, you feel some blood flow there. So see if you can use like 50%, 40% of what you were just doing on the ab exercise. Use just half as much to stabilize so that you're really keeping your pelvis stable and moving from your hip joint, not from your SI joint or from your pelvis or from your ribs. So you're trying to stabilize that hip to rib connection as you move your leg around. Squeezing the feet together. 2 more. And then we'll lengthen the lever. You got it. From there, we're going to lower that bottom leg down. We're going to bring this knee towards the armpit. Let's flex the foot like a single legged frog, and then you're going to massage through your foot as you push away. Reach, 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 like someone's pulling my toes. Flex, inhale, come in. Exhale, point and reach away. Flex, inhale in. Point, reach away. Flex, coming in. Point, reaching away. Flexing, coming in. Pointing, reaching away. 3 more. And away. So you get your ankle moving a little bit here. We're going to keep that ankle thought when we do our leg kicks. And then we're gonna point. We're gonna keep our little bit of external rotation as we bring the leg down. We're gonna think external rotation as you flex your foot and kick forward. And then you're gonna point your foot, have a slight internal rotation, but it just is going from external to parallel as you swing your leg back. And right about here, it's sometimes very easy for us to collapse when we swing our leg back, so brace a little bit with the belly and keep your pelvis stable. Flex, kick forward, think external rotation, point, thinking internal rotation. So if you just think it, that's enough. Kick forward and exhale, kick back. Let's get a little flow with it. Let's inhale forward, exhale, kicking back. Inhale, kick forward, exhale, kick back. As your tush starts to get tired and the weight of the leg is like pretty long now, that's a long lever, your foot is going to want to drip towards the floor like this. Get closer to the floor. You've got to keep lifting it. Use your tush. Flex, kick forward, swing, coming back. One more. And coming back, hold there. Stretch your top arm overhead. Flex your top foot. Push your bottom leg down into the mat a little bit and stretch, lifting your top leg up a little higher and your shoulder up, and take a nice deep breath in. Stretch, stretch, stretch. It's like you just woke up this morning. Maybe you did just wake up. And then coming all the way in. And then we're going to go to the other side. I would recommend, if you are not in a position to just roll over to the other side, use your hands to sit up. And then we'll swing the legs around and get set up for the other side. So as I get set up for the other side, I'm thinking head, shoulders, ribs, pelvis as aligned as I can be. I'm going to externally rotate my top leg, so clamshell. I'm going to think from my pubic bone, my navel to my breastbone, trying to be in some sort of alignment. So that's like 50%, 40% work just to keep myself aligned, trying not to thrust my pubic bone forward, but to lengthen it. And I'm squeezing my feet together and my bottom foot lifts up if that's okay with my bottom hip and knee. I'm going to internally rotate the top leg and then externally rotate for 1. And on this side, and externally rotate for 2, my ribs twist. So I'm going to kind of push in my hand and kind of lean those ribs back. Inhale and internally rotate, externally rotate, exhale. And your range may be really small. You don't have to think, oh, I need to be a Bolshoi ballerina, unless you are, and then maybe work on your turnout. But these muscles that do the clamshell are really to help stabilize the hip and really the knee and the foot, like it ripples all the way down the foot. So they're there to help you sort of balance. So when you go hiking again, these muscles should be really strong when you're going up and down stairs and up and down hills, that they're there. They also wrap in and up to that pelvic floor, so you could connect a little exhale, external rotation, pelvic floor, belly, right? 1 more. And then we're going to lower the bottom foot, kind of press it into the mat. You're going to do this one-sided frog, so bringing the knee towards the armpit. And then you're going to slowly point your foot and stretch away. Flex, inhale, bending in. Exhale as you press away, 2. Inhale, bending in. Exhale, pressing away. Okay, I'm going to lengthen. I was kind of shortening a little bit, so I'm going to think head to tail is longer. I have the core support for that. Inhale, coming in. Exhale, pressing out. 3 more. Reaching. 2 more. Whee! And last one. Just be glad we didn't do all that kneeling, because sometimes we do it kneeling and that's always fun. So we're going to flex your foot, kick forward, thinking external rotation. It was so much harder on this side for me. And I'm going to point and think a little internal rotation as I kick back, but I still have to brace with my belly so I don't collapse. So I really can get the leg work and the stretch. Flex, think external rotation, kick forward. Point, think internal rotation, stretch back. Inhale, kick forward. Exhale, kick back. Try not to let the leg fall, or the foot, fall towards the floor. So you have to keep the tush working. You guys get a really nice shot at my foot when I do these leg kicks. Sorry about that. Keep breathing and swinging that leg. Like on this side feels so different, right? One side always feels different than the other. I have a little less stability because of where my ribs sit on this side. I have to work a little harder, even on my bottom side, to get that. 2 more. Finding that head to tail. Be free with your spine, right? So easy for us to forget that. And then release. Actually, we forgot our stretch. So let's stretch the top leg out, flex the foot, grab the top arm, stretch the shoulder up. If it's too much to pull the top arm, just lift the shoulder up, lift the heel up. Breathe, 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 breathe. Let your breath not be stopped at your chest. Like let it go, like the length that your inhale can give you. Let it go from your head to your heel and your heel to your head, and then relax. All right. So we are going to come to forearms and knees or hands and knees, whatever you need. You're going to tuck your toes if that's comfortable. If not, just have your feet flat. I'm gonna have my feet flat today. And what we're gonna come up to is a little kneeling stance. And I'm gonna take one hand to the front to my belly and one hand to my sacrum first. And then I'm gonna take one hand to kind of my back. I'm gonna think, where can I work that line from pubic bone to navel to breastbone and feel support in my back? And I'm gonna inhale, I'm gonna go down just a little bit. So it's not so much in like meniscus or my knee or anything like that. I'm gonna squeeze my hamstrings and glutes, come forward and try not to lean back in my body. Inhale, going down. Exhale, coming up. Woo, my calf wants to cramp. Inhale, going down. Exhale, working right here and working the belly. And we're gonna add on. Arms go forward. Exhale, draw the shoulders and the elbows back. Brace with the abdominals. Squeeze with the tush. Oh, I gotta tuck my toes today. My calf is cramping on my left side to try and stabilize my knee. Inhale, exhale. Go as big or as small as you want to. So if some of your bodies are like, oh, I'm gonna go down and up bigger, go bigger. But you can also just keep it really small. Think shoulder blades draw a little together as the elbows pull back. Inhale, reach the arms forward. Exhale, coming back up. Inhale, arms go forward. Exhale, arms pull back. 3 more. 2 more. Breathing. Last one. Working that. All right, this feeling of support from your knees to your ribs to your shoulders, what you want as you come forward into your variation of plank. So I'm going to start. The best way to start this is just hands and knees. Slowly engage that hamstring glute connection, engage that line from breastbone to pubic bone, and slowly come forward and feel like, where is it that I start to lose something? Where is it that I start to shorten? So find a place that's right for you, and then take a moment and lengthen. And by lengthen, I don't mean just like tuck your butt under, because that's going to shorten the line from the breastbone to pubic bone. Engage and lengthen the line from head to tail, and engage and lengthen the line from pubic bone to breastbone. And think back to your bridging or that kneeling sort of like variation of chest expansion. Woo, hello hamstring, my left side. Get my right side engaged, maybe my left side won't work as hard. And I'm just gonna hold there. And I'm gonna feel that connection, I'm gonna feel my length. And then I'm gonna press into my hands a little bit more. So now my shoulders are more engaged. And then we're gonna reach the butt back. We're gonna do just this variation 2 more times. So you're going to keep pressing the mat down away from you. Get your hamstring and glutes working so it's a hip hinge, right? So it's a extension in your hip joint, not a collapse in your spine. Lengthen from head to tail. Resist, resist, resist the mat. So I feel like my ribs and my head are really floating up. Where's my sort of like weak spot? In my spinal support through my belly, and then going back, breathing in. 1 more like this, coming forward. Work the hips just as much as bridge, just as much as the previous kneeling exercise. Come as much forward as you can, and then this might be enough, and you can do this 2 more times. If you're up for it, lift the knees off, keep the legs that engaged, reach your heels back and lengthen. Can you breathe as deep as where we started at the beginning of class? Pressing. Can your collarbones be as wide as they were at the beginning when you were breathing? Because what's going to happen is the collarbones are going to pull down and the shoulders are going to round because your pack's pulling them that way, as they should. But you want to stay wide as you do that. long from head to tail, long from pubic bone to breastbone, active in the waistline and the navel. 2 more breaths. If you're just doing it kneeling, go back and forth one more time. If you're in your plank, hold it, adjust it, breathe deeper. Breathe all the way up into your chest a little bit. Feel when you inhale that you have the tensegrity in your muscles to have rebound against your inhale. And then bring your knees down if they're up. If your knees are already down, then what you're going to do is just widen your legs a little bit. And all we're going to do is shift a little side to side, wiggling the hips. And then you're going to do a little cat-cow, just rounding the spine, lifting your organs to the ceiling. Then shifting back, and you're going to slowly make your way to sitting. Again, getting comfortable wherever you are. We're going to check back in with your breath. So, especially if you're in a plank, it's like really stimulating. It still like really gets me sometimes, just the holding of the plank. But it's like being in those moments of discomfort in our body and then adjusting them, still being present even though it's quite strenuous. We're going to do one more side bend each side, but notice how it might feel different now because you've activated all these different parts of your body. You're going to inhale and just stretch one way. Then I'm using my hand that's on the mat to kind of push weight into the opposite hip. I'm going to roll a little bit towards that knee on that side and take both hands to the mat, pulling my belly back and trying to get my ribs to kind of twist that way. Woo. Going back into the side bend and then coming all the way up. Going to the other side. Oh, pressing. So like this side, I just want to lean because my ribs are a little stiffer. So even after doing all that work, it's still there. And then I'm going to rotate, taking myself towards that knee. I'm going to use my hands, not my shoulders up by my ears, but my hands on the mat to help coax my ribs to rotate towards that side. Hello, organs, sloshing around there. Going back into your side bend. And then take a moment and just sit center. Maybe close your eyes again and take one deep breath, noticing if you can sense how your body moves or doesn't move on your inhale and exhale. So hopefully it feels a lot more expansive, a lot more, what word do I want to use to describe that feeling is kind of like, there's tone, there's resiliency in there. There's like a springiness to the tissues and an awakening there. And you're done, maybe for today. Some of you guys, I've heard that you guys are organizing sort of coffee dates after class, which is amazing. So if you're not doing that, I think that's a great idea and a great way to sort of extend connecting with people. So it was wonderful to connect with you guys today. Thank you for having me here and for coming. And for those of you who I don't know, again, I'm Nicole Watkins. I'm teaching for Kaira Studios, and we were here to help you stay strong, stay healthy, and stay home. Thank you guys. I'll be on for a few minutes if you need anything. Please feel free.